Hi everyone, welcome to Document Support Services. Let's be honest, trying to navigate any changes to aged care can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. It can be stressful, right? There's just so much information flying around, and it's tough to figure out what it all means for you and your family. And you know what? That feeling of uncertainty is very, very real. I think aged care advocate Val Felb absolutely hit the nail on the head here. So our goal with this explainer is to cut right through all that noise, give you the straight facts, and hopefully bring some real clarity to these big changes. So here's how we're going to do it. We've got a simple roadmap. We'll start with the big picture, then we'll dive into the nitty-gritty of how it hits your wallet and your actual care, and we'll wrap up with some clear, practical steps you can take. Okay, let's get into it. First up, let's just set the scene. The Australian government is in the middle of rolling out one of the biggest shake-ups to aged care we've seen in years. The main goal? To create a system for at-home care that's simpler, more open, and a lot more personalised. So here's the headline news. The system that many of us know as home care packages, or HCP, is on its way out. It's being replaced by a brand new program called Support at Home, and it's all set to officially kick off on November 1st, 2025. The whole idea is to have one single streamlined program for all in-home care. Right, so let's dig into what's actually changing, because this isn't just a simple name change, not by a long shot. The entire structure of how you get and manage your care is basically being redesigned from the ground up. And this slide really lays it all out side by side. You can see the core shifts right here. So we're going from just 4 pretty broad funding levels to 8 much more specific tiers. The whole idea behind this is to match the funding way more closely to what you actually need. And your budget's getting a makeover too. Instead of that annual pot of money that just kind of rolls over, it's now going to be managed quarterly. So let's talk dates. November 1st, 2025, that's the big day the new program starts. Then, looking ahead to mid-2026, we're going to see capped prices for services, which is supposed to bring more consistency. And finally, by 2027, the entry-level Commonwealth Home Support Program will start merging into this new system as well. Okay, let's pivot to the question that's probably on everyone's mind. What does all this mean for your wallet? How are the costs and your contributions really going to change? This is probably the single biggest financial shift. You see, under the old system, a lot of people could get their care just by spending up to the limit of their government-funded package, but under Support at Home, pretty much everyone will be asked to make a co-contribution to the cost of their services. And this table here breaks down exactly how that's going to work. You'll see care is split into 3 buckets. Now, the good news first, clinical care, we're talking nursing and things like that, is fully funded by the government. Nobody pays extra for that. But for independent services like personal care and everyday living services like cleaning, you will contribute a percentage. And that rate all depends on your financial situation, whether you're a full pensioner, part pensioner, or self-funded. But, and this is important, there is a safety net built into the system. The total amount you can ever be asked to contribute to your aged care has a lifetime cap. And that cap is being lifted to $130,000, up from about $83,000 in the old system to protect people from crazy long-term costs. Okay, so we've talked about the money, but what about the care itself? Beyond the finances, how will the actual services you get be different under this new supported home program? Well, like we saw a minute ago, we're shifting from those 4 broad package levels to 8 much more precise tiers. And the goal here is pretty simple, to get away from a one-size-fits-all approach. Whether you just need a little bit of help with the cleaning, or you need really intensive daily nursing care, these new tiers are designed to match your funding and support much more accurately to your specific situation. This comparison really nails another huge change in how you manage your care. Remember that switch to quarterly budgets? Well, this is where it really bites. Any money you don't spend won't just keep rolling over forever anymore. The new system puts a cap on how much you can carry over. The thinking behind this is to encourage people to actually use the services they've been approved for instead of letting these huge balances build up. Okay, now this is absolutely crucial, especially for anyone who's already getting a home care package. The government has made a big promise no one will be worse off. So what does that mean? It means you'll be automatically moved over to the new program. They're calling it a grandfathering principle. And in plain English, that just means you get to keep your current level of funding and you won't be asked to pay a cent more than you already do. That's a huge relief for a lot of people. All right, I know that was a lot of information to take in. So with this massive transition on the horizon, what are the simple, practical things you can do right now to get ready for it? The most important thing to remember is not to panic. Your care isn't going to just stop, but it's really smart to be proactive. So stay in the loop by checking for government announcements. Take a little time to really review your current care and think about what you might need in the future, and definitely have a chat with your current provider to make sure they'll be offering services under the new program. At the end of the day, the goal of this whole Support at Home program is to build a system that's fairer, more transparent, and more personalized. But as we head into this completely new era, it really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? Will this massive shakeup actually deliver that simplicity, or will it just create a whole new layer of complexity for people to figure out? I guess only time will tell. Here's the additional information that you need to know. For existing aged care clients, this can feel both relieving and confusing. On one hand, the system promises less delay and more fairness. On the other, it introduces unfamiliar rules, categories, and possible changes to contributions. While the changes appear positive, it's important not to ignore the concerns. Some clients may pay more depending on their income and service type, and the transition itself may lead to temporary service disruption if not well managed. For new applicants, this system could mean shorter waiting periods, but it also means navigating a newer, still evolving system. Education and advocacy will be critical. Families should actively engage in the assessment process, request written care plans, and ask detailed questions about co-contributions and hours of service. Being informed ensures your loved one continues receiving appropriate care without disruption. Support at home will not affect everyone the same way. Those with high care or complex medical needs may experience significantly better access and more tailored services. Independent seniors may enjoy increased flexibility, while low-income retirees could see a mixed impact depending on contribution requirements. Understanding how these changes apply to your situation is essential to ensuring appropriate care. Support at Home represents one of the biggest reforms to aged care in Australia's history. While its aim is to provide greater fairness, flexibility, and responsiveness, it also requires greater understanding and planning from families. The success of this system will depend not just on government design, but on how well families, providers, and recipients are guided through the transition. Thank you so much for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.